We have been discussing with you under your syllabus foreign exchange transactions. Foreign exchange transactions. Then we have discussed related area for your syllabus with regard to proprietary trading or the foreign exchange transactions. And we have completed the only thing examiner has tested several times with regard to proprietary trading or foreign exchange transaction cross rates and all, right? Cross rates. So we have learned direct quotes and indirect quotes, then how you arrive to the final cross rate. And also we discussed which side you should select. So basically, uh, the answer is coming for the which currency. So we have done everything, and also then we have learned later derivative instruments. Derivative instruments in the sense internal and external derivative instruments we have learned, and we have not done in depth, which is not relevant to your syllabus much. The only thing I have given you some Word document notes just to read it, and also remember some forward exchange contracts, futures, and the differences and similarities. So most of the differences, similarities in the sense, it's basically derivative instruments. There are many differences. Although these derivative instruments are there to hedge the forex risk. Now, the most popular one in Sri Lanka is we have forward exchange contract. Forward exchange contract. So we have a little on options as well, but we are not much using options. But we are widely used forward exchange contract. Now, presently, forward exchange contracts, there is a ban on exchange contracts, but we learn giving an example how this foreign forward exchange contracts are work. And also we have learned, remember, now if you take today 200, then after 3 months time it's coming 210. What is this 10 rupee difference? Right? If it is more than today's price, we call it premium. And if it is less than today's price, we say today 200, so after 3 months time it's 180. So it's a discount, right? So how do you arrive these differences? Also, we learned there are two methods, if you can remember: purchasing power parity and the interest rate parity. So the interest rate parity in the sense the two different countries, two different currencies, that is a USD LKR, US and Sri Lanka interest rate. So the Sri Lanka interest rate the formula, then you divided that by the US interest rate, then you get an answer. Then you can calculate it. Okay? So now the countries like Japan, you have discount. So in Sri Lanka, we have always plus figure y, our interest rate is higher than US. That's the general assumption. So we have always plus. Right? Then we had sometimes rupee interest rates higher than lower than dollar interest rate at that time previously before this policy rate increase. And at that time it was a discount prevailing in the Sri Lanka as well. You know, whereas the treasury bill rate was 5%, 5.5 or whatever the 5 plus, whereas the US dollar rate was 7%. So then the US dollar rate is higher than the Sri Lankan interest rate. So at that time we had discount. Now it has reversed it. Now our interest rate, LKR interest rate is higher than US interest rate. So we have premium at the moment. So that's how we discuss. Anything you need to clarify further? That's foreign exchange transaction. So that is enough. And only thing my request is to just read what I have given the notes on this foreign exchange transaction, the proprietary trading, which is more relevant to you. For your knowledge also it's relevant to you. If someone has once tested the types of options, and just to read it and just keep in mind when you're doing the questions, you can see how many questions are raised from this proprietary trading, right? Not much, not much, but examiner can test you. Now, only thing he has not tested any question for 5 mark question. For 5 marks, not tested. There was a one question that is also a 2 mark question, and there was a 5 mark question. The one part was tested in this connection transaction, right? And the other question tested for 2 marks. So the entire question comprising foreign exchange transaction as text type question not being tested yet. Right? So there is a possibility of coming since it's a part of your syllabus. Now, many people are talking about forward exchange, sorry, the foreign exchange transaction, forex market. So there may be a question on this, and be ready for that, right? And now we are moving to next topic. So we will be covering with you all. I have uploaded this particular note to you, which is corporate finance. Right? Corporate finance is corporate finance. So basically, corporate finance. Under this, we are learning how these mergers and acquisitions are formed. How these mergers and acquisitions are formed. Now, why do we need this? First, we will see why do we need this. It's there on the note. Benefits of mergers and acquisitions. So benefits are there. Now, if you take two companies, there are two companies, A and B. Example, there are two companies available. Now, one company is going to acquire the other company. Is that happening? Yes, it's happening. Somebody can acquire, somebody can purchase another company. Now, if you see share market presently, so that any company who needs to list in share market, Colombo Stock Exchange, they'll have to release some percentage of shares to the market, 25% or 20-25%, the minimum. Now, say if one person acquires this entire amount of shareholding of this particular company through share market. So, share market is secondary market operation. Now, say somebody is acquiring the entire amount in the share market of a particular company. Can he control that particular company's affairs? No, he can't. Why? 25% of 100. He acquired 25 out of 100. So the majority is with not him. Majority shareholding is not with him. So there are 75% outside this particular guy. So then he can't control. So the control means what? Control means you appoint more number of directors to the board. That's all. If you can appoint more number of members to the board, you control the company. Now, if you take particular company, now there is a board of directors. So under that there is a executive management, right? So the executive management people are the people who are doing the daily operations. But the board is there, that is the apex body. They take the decision on for the company. So then from top, decisions are conveyed to the down. That's what actually happens. Now, now what do you mean by now? Say now one guy is acquiring 25% of shares. Example, 20% of shares of a particular company. So the board of directors and the shareholder. So what do you mean by shareholder? Shareholder is the owner. Shareholder is the owner of a particular company. Now if you purchase a one share of any company listed in share market or the CSC, you become a shareholder. You are the owner of this particular company. Why? You pay them, you acquire one share. You are owner. But can you control company? Can you say, do this, do this, do this? Can you say that? You can't. Why? You just a shareholder. You don't have what? Controlling power. For you to have controlling power, you should acquire how much? If it is 100, you have to acquire more than 50. That's simple. That's simple requirement. You have 100. If you can purchase more than 100, meaning you are controlling. That is the one method. But without being acquired 50% of share, can you control? Yes, there are methods we will be learning later. 50% acquire කරගන්න නැතිවත් control කරන්න පුළුවන් company? Yes, there are methods we will be learning later. And for the time being, just remember, just keep in mind, if you are acquiring more than 50%, then you are controlling this company. Controlling means what? You appoint more directors on the board. Who is you? You are the person who acquires shares. The person who spend money to acquire shares. Now say, I spend money. I spend my money to acquire company shares. If I want, I can be nominated myself to the board. I can go and sit on the board. That's true. Now say I acquire a company, 51% of a company. Say John Keys, I have acquired 51% of shares. So the majority is with me. I can do anything. I can now say board of directors comprising 7 directors. Board is 7 directors line. Now how do you decide the number of directors? Based on the articles of association. You know, when a company is to be registered, there are list of documents to be submitted. Memorandum of association, articles of association, directors. Now articles of association basically they have to control the internal company affairs. Memorandum of association means outside company and outside. Now internal affairs will be controlled by or will be directed by articles of association. So the articles of association says board members should be comprised 7 members. So the 7 members can be appointed. Now I have 51%. I have the majority, so I can appoint more than the majority. I can appoint the majority. 7 majority means how many? 4. I can appoint 4 members to the board. 4 members to the board. 4 members in the sense I can appoint whatever the person I like. If I appoint you, you will be working on behalf of me, right? You will not against. You are not going against me. So I am appointing the people whom I want to. Correct? Right? So basically the people you are appointing will be taken care of my interest. If I want, I can be the one member of the board. I can be one. I can appoint 4 people, that is majority out of 7. I can be one if I want. If I have time, I can be a member of board. I can be a chairman if I want. So I can be a director as well. So the other 3 directors, I will be appointing whom are known to me. So basically, they will act on me. They will not go against me. So then majority is with me. Everybody, majority is with me, so that I will be appointing to the board. So I have the control. So if you have the majority power of the board, it means you control the company. If you take private banks, commercial bank, HNB and all, who is the major shareholder? Government, right? Why the EPF having the major part of the shares. Now we'll be learning this why the government is not investing, but the ETF is not in ETF is investing. So then how does it become? Now understand now if you can appoint more number of members to the board, meaning your control. Your control. Right? If you can appoint more number of boards, your now without having 51%, without having 51%, you have 40%. But if you have opportunity, if we have opportunity to appoint more number of shareholders, more number of directors, then you are going to control the company. So how come having 40% you control? Now say you as a one person holding 40%. Other 60% is basically scattered among small amount, 1%, 2%, many number of shareholders. So the other 60%, they don't have any controlling, but you are holding 40% as a one guy. So then you have more power. Like that. There are companies like that. Even you have less than 51%, you control the company affairs. Why? As an individual, as a one entity, you are holding the majority of percentage. You can do that. You can do that. Right? So other companies, so that's why the government that's why the companies not giving much share to the market. Right? If they release liquidity, now releasing more shares to the market in the share market means you're providing the liquidity. So if you have more liquidity in the market, then your controlling stake sometimes may lose. That's why, right? So you can't, so even you are a private company, privately owned company, it's a family company. So many number of, if you want to become a listed company, it has to be public. But there are companies like now if you take Avance, still they are going as family company, listed company, public liability. But they control the majority of their family members are the directors. So they have small number of shares only released to the market. They don't want to give the controlling stake to somebody else. Like that, right? So there are many methods. You can have this controlling interest even you hold less than 51%. So basically we can understand if we have the authority, if we have the power to appoint more number of directors to the board, meaning you are controlling. Take as a you take some commercial banks, private commercial banks, the majority shareholders with the government. Government in the sense EPF. So the EPF is a government control institution, right? EPF is the government. So basically government is holding. So we call it the indirect holding. Direct and indirect. Now if you go if I go and buy shares, that is direct. One of my companies, I have another company. I'm individual. I have a company formed in the name of mine. I have the sole ownership. I have the sole ownership. Now this particular company goes and buy shares from the market, the same company, in the company's name. Can the company buy shares of another company? Of course, yes. Company can buy another company share, no issue. So I as an individual person, I am buying this particular company share. I have 100% on my own company. I am the only person there. So this company also buys the same share. So basically, ultimately, I and my company are both one, right? One similar institution. So then if I take my shares and my company shares altogether, if I take it so separately, it's different issue. But if I add together, then I can have the control. Now, me going and buying means the direct, but one of my companies, this my own company going and buying. In that case, this company buying shares means direct purchases in point of in the name of company. From the point of view this particular company, it's a direct buying. Now, me going and buying means that's a direct buying. If we get together, meaning it's a direct and indirect. I'll show it to you how this direct and indirect becomes subsidiary of whatever the percentage. Right. Now, understand there can be direct purchases, there can be indirect purchases. Direct, indirect, you can acquire shares. You can ask one of my companies, my ownership company, my own company to acquire this particular company share. Now you know in banking sector in Sri Lanka, the banks, you can't have more than 10% individual. But with the approval of the motor board, you can go up. But one individual guy cannot be held more than 10% share. Why? So that when you have more than 10%, you get a kind of controlling stake. So then the government does not need to give this controlling power. But with the monetary board approval, it can go for individual. But if you take now, there are 5 government institutions. They acquire each 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So it becomes what? Ultimately, through indirect holding, the government become a shareholder. So we will show it to you how it does it happen. But individually, they are holding 10% individually. But who is the sole owner? One guy. Now see, I have 3 companies. This 3 company individually goes and buys me individual direct purchases. But I am behind them. All these three companies belong to me. Ownership is with me. So basically, I only control these 3 companies. Now these 3 companies control this particular. They have acquired this particular company share. Virtually, I am holding this particular company share through these 3 companies of mine. Because මට companies 3ක් තියෙනවා. මට තමයි අයිති. මම ගන්නෙ නෑ shares. මම කියනවා මේ companies 3ට ගිහිල්ලා individually John Keels වල example John Keels වල shares ගන්න කියලා. companies 3ක් තියෙනවා. තුන් දෙනාම ගන්නවා companies John Keels වල shares. හැබැයි කාටවත් කවුරුත් දන්නේ නැහැ මේක අයිති කවුද මේ කම්පැනි ගත්ත ෂෙයාර්ස් මේ කම්පැනි ගත්ත මේ කම්පැනිස් තුනට තමයි අයිති බට් මේ කම්පැනිස් තුන පිටිපස්සේ ඉන්නේ කවුද me. So I control these 3 companies. So obviously these 3 companies acquire joint shares means virtually indirectly I control this company joint shares. That's how it comes. That is indirect holding. That is indirect holding. I am not directly go and buy. I don't directly go and buy, but through one of my subsidiaries, one of my own companies, I'm asking to purchase. So it becomes finally my shareholder. My business. Now, if I acquire more than 51% or the 51%, so the A and B, there are 2 companies. A acquires 51% of B. A is what? A is subsidiary company. So B is subsidiary company. Now he see this one. As you can see this. Now see company A, company company B. There are two companies, A and B. Now A acquires 51% of shares. Who acquires? Now A acquires, right? Now see. Now A acquires A acquires 51% of B. A acquires. A purchases. A in a company acquires 51% of B shares. So the B becomes what? In this case, A is parent. B is subsidiary. Remember two words, right? A and B. A is parent, B is subsidiary. A acquires 51% of B. Who has the major share? A has the major shareholding. Why? A only acquires. A only purchase. So the B will acquire. A acquires B. If the A acquires 20%, here the 20%. This is what? Then the B becomes B is what? associate. B is associate. B is associate company. A acquires 20% of more, but less than 51%. 51% acquire කරගත්තොත් මේක subsidiary වෙනවා. Parent subsidiary relationship. If A acquires minimum 20, maximum 51. 20 to 51. A acquire කරගත්තොත් minimum 20, maximum 51. 51 acquire කරගත්තොත් it becomes subsidiary. So to become an associate, minimum 20%. If you acquire minimum 20% of a particular company, the particular company becomes or the B becomes associate company. So less than 20% if you are holding a normal investment. Now, we have to make a share invest 5% the total shareholding. It's a normal investment. You can't do anything. Now, meaning is what? Now, what is the significance of having this percentage? So the ability to appoint more directors to the board. Meaning is what? Final meaning is what? Controlling the company's affairs. So if you can appoint more directors to the board, only you can control the company affairs. So that's the intention of acquiring, otherwise purchasing shares. You got it? So anything below 20% we call it a normal investment. The normal investment. Right? The normal investment. Now, first scenario, this one. Now this first scenario, parent subsidiary. Who is the owner of this particular B company? A. Now A company, A acquires 51% of B. A acquires 51% of B. Now, if you see this, okay, A acquires 51% of B means what? Company A is existing. Company B is also existing. But only controlling stake is with A. A can control it. A can control all the affairs. A is the boss. But both the companies are separately. Now this A company manufacturing, B company hotel. A company they own their business. B company they are doing their own business. So both the companies are going ahead. But if you see, now this is acquisition. This is an acquisition. Right? There is an acquisition. So what do you mean by merger? Merger means there are two companies called A and B, you get together. Then you form a new company. Company C, example. So when you merge existing companies are no more. Existing companies are no more. That's the difference between merger and acquisition. If it is an acquisition, all the companies acquire, acquirer, acquiree, all the companies existing. It's there. But if you merge Now say there is a two company A and B. Now you want to merge. So the A and B merge means new company created or C, whatever. So basically it's a new company created liquidating existing A and B company. A new company is created. Now in this diagram you can see this. Now see the merger. Company A, company B, you become these two companies are no more. Now in this case, company XY, X hold, X acquires, but both the companies going on under acquisition, but merger AB no more, right? That is merger and difference with acquisition. Now see now this particular now A acquires 51% B, meaning the direct acquisition. It's a direct acquisition. Now listen to this. Can company A acquire more number of companies? Now there are companies CPNO, DPNO, EPNO, FPNO, company's name. Can A acquire if this company A has money? Can these companies acquire? Yeah, no issue. If these companies are willing to, if these company shareholders are willing to sell their shares to A, you can acquire. There is no barrier. But we will be learning later. Now these companies now they are balling acquire karane now. That is also can be happen. Then you have a defensive, post-defensive acquisition mechanism. We will be learning later. Now you can acquire many number of companies. So then if you have acquired 51% C, company C, then another subsidiary. So A company has how many subsidiaries? Then two subsidiaries. Now this company A acquires 20% of D. Then D company 51% acquire, so then the C company 51% acquire, D company only 20%. So the two subsidiaries and one associate company. Can it be happen? Yeah. Now selling to how many number of companies they have? Uncountable number subsidiaries they have. So if you take parent and subsidiary together, we call it a name. It's a group company. Have you heard this? If you say group companies means you have more number of companies within the group. So the one owner is there, which is the parent, and many number of subsidiaries are there. That's a group. So now, if you have one company, does it become group? Yes. If you have all now say this particular, so A is a parent, B is subsidiary. It's a group company. It's a group company. Why? You have one subsidiary. If you go and see your bank's balance sheet, then you have a bank column and the group column. Group column is what? Your bank has acquired number of or one or more subsidiaries. So they are holding more than 51%. So then that's your bank's group. Your bank separately we take it parent company. The bank column you show as parent, and the group column you can see your balance sheet, and group column you have what? Your parent plus subsidiary company. Now if you say group comprises only subsidiary and the parent, no associate company, no other investment. So meaning is what? The group comprises the companies which parent holds more than 50%. Or it can be less than 51%, but for the condition, you should be able to appoint more number of directors, meaning is what? You control the company. So you finally, if you can now, if you are holding 10% shareholding, but still you can control the company affairs somehow. Very difficult, but say somehow you control the company. You have the authority to appoint more directors to the board, then you become a subsidiary. It doesn't necessarily need to have 51%. The final word should be there to what? Control the company affairs. That's all. So how do you control the company affairs? To appointing, to appoint, or by appointing more number of directors to the board. That's all. But सामान्य अभी parent subsidiary, then whether this subsidiary is belong to this company, एक again अभी generally we inquire what's the percentage generally. सामान्य if it is more than 51%, we say okay, then you become subsidiary. But if they have less than 51%, initially we think no, you can't control, but it is not so. Even you are having less than 51%, if you can control the company affairs, meaning you can appoint more directors to the board, become subsidiary. So if you have a subsidiary, then you prepare what? Group accounts. In other words, we call it consolidated accounts. Parent and the group. So to prepare consolidated accounts, so the group account, basically you add together assets and liabilities of the parent and the subsidiary. Parents or parent company fixed asset 100ක්. Subsidiary में B वाला subsidiary fixed asset 200ක්. Then you 300. It's a group fixed asset. Like that. So you add together assets and liabilities. Then there is an adjustment for the minority interest as well. The later you don't this accounting, right? So whatever the amount of the balance 49%. Then assets I'll tell you now. Here this guy had 100 fixed asset, but if you take 100, technically how much you need it? What is the ownership you should have? Company A 50% are making IT, but in the accounting, what do? You add together entirety. But later, what? Remember when we discuss the treasury bond, you can recall the treasury bond transaction, finding the pricing. There are dirty price. When we calculate the bond pricing, we get the dirty price or intrinsic value. And also, if you can remember the accrued interest. So we discussed accrued interest part when we had a special class. Right? Beginning special class, I told you accrued interest which is not relevant to the buyer. Then how do you say? Now what happens is when you acquire a treasury bond, whatever the owner available on the coupon date, central bank credit present owner of the 6-month coupon interest rate. Why 6 months? Treasury bill always should have semi-annual interest. So now say 6 months. So the other due date, the shareholder, then central bank credits to 6 months coupon interest rate to this particular present owner. But this guy was not holding for 6 months. Example, මාස 3කට පස්සේ තමයි මාස 3යි තමයි මෙයා මේ බොන්ඩ් එක අයිති. මාස මම ගන්නකොට I have been holding this particular bond for last 3 months. However, what does the central bank do? Central bank credits entire 6 months coupon to my account, which is wrong, but can't help. So then I should give whatever the amount not relevant to me to the seller, but I'm not giving. But how does it adjust to the purchasing price? When you calculate the price of particular treasury bond, it comprises the amount which is not relevant to you as well. මේ මාස තුන මට අයිති නෑ අලුත් පායට අයිති නෑ නමුත් මේ මාස තුනේ ගෙවන්න ඕන ටික මම ගෙවන්න ඕනේ හරියට නම් මම ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මගේ account එකට ආවම නිකන් ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ හින්දා මේ මාස තුනට අයිති interest ටික අර මම seller ගෙවන price එකේ include. So then transaction is okay. කාටවත් දෙකේ loss එකක් නැහැ. We have learned, right? Here also the same. You add together all these things, thinking that or taking into account you have holding 100%. Now say subsidiary 100 නම් අපේ assets තියෙන්නේ, you are holding only 51%, then you should take 100 into 51% of it. But in the accounting we add together the finally from the liability part, so we exclude this minority interest. Minority interest is how many? How much? So 49% is the minority. So then you deduct from there only. That's the accounting treatment you do. You don't need it, but it happens, right? So once you become a parent as a subsidiary, you add together all these assets and liabilities. Even you hold less than 100%. Then finally, you exclude whatever the minority interest part for the minority shareholder. Right? That's accounting, but it is not necessary for your information, for your knowledge only, I told you. Now understand this. A acquires 51%, so B, it can be a many number of companies. Yes, possible. Don't worry. You can acquire many number of subsidiaries. You can acquire many number of shares. So then it becomes subsidiaries of you. It becomes group. So finally, you will be preparing consolidated accounts. Now, for the group, can it be associate companies? No. Can it be normal investment? Yeah. But normal investment we don't take into account. It's basically it's investment only. When you prepare a group account, we take into account subsidiaries and associates only. Associates, we take the share of profit. We'll come next. Now, acquisition, 51%, B, any number of shares. Now, see this one. A acquires 51%, B. Now see this pattern. A acquires 51% of B. So what's the relationship between A and B? A is acquirer. B is acquiree. A is the parent. B is the subsidiary. Why subsidiary? More than 51%. Ownership is with A. Is it an associate? No. Subsidiary. Why? More than 51%. To become associate, how many? How much shareholding? 20%. Minimum 20. A acquires B. 51%. Yeah, A holding 51% shares of B. Now see next one. B acquires. So the B holding. Oh, B acquires. Oh, B was holding. B holding. B is holding 80% of C shares. C company shares වලින් 80ක් අයිති කාටද? B ට. A ට අයිති 51ක් B ගේ. A is a separate company, B is a separate company. B is doing their own business. A is doing their own business. Have a B වෙනම company එකක්. වෙනම board එකක් ඉන්නවා. They can take their own decision. So the B decided to acquire company C. Acquire in the sense to get the majority share. B now remember basically first you should understand company and the owner two different. Company and owner කියලා කියන්නේ දෙකක්, right? Entity concept. This is a preliminary concept. So even I put my money into the company as capital, I can't do anything. But the two different things. මට ඕන විදිහට කරන්න බෑ. The company has the accountability to give whatever the return to me as dividend. So then the company should make profit to me to give dividend as a shareholder. So the shareholders are appointing board of directors. You got it? Now say John Field, we take John Field. Who are the owners there? Owners means what? People who put capital. Who are the owners? Now if you purchase one share of John Field from the share market, Colombo Stock Exchange, you become a shareholder. What a society, John Field second. So the people who are holding majority of shareholding, percentage wise people who are holding majority shareholders appoint directors to John Field's board. Why? To run the company. So I can't run, I don't have much time to allocate John Field's company. I am a shareholder. See, I am the major shareholder. නමුත් මට තියෙන වෙලාව නැතිකම හින්දා I am not taking a board seat there. I am not going to sit on the board. So I appoint number of directors there. Now in the AGM, annual general meeting, what do you mean by annual general meeting? Annual general meeting is a compulsory listing rule requirement. Every company, even a private or public, every company should convene annual general meeting annually to tell the company affairs. Why? Owners and the board of directors are two different things. මේ ඔක්කොම directors ලා owners ලා නම් දෙන්න ඕනේ. නමුත් owners ලට කාලේ නැති නිසා මොකද කරන්නේ? Owners අයිතිකාරෝ directors ලා කියලා ප්‍රශ්න පත් කරනවා මේ company කරගෙන යන්නේ. So then directors have the liability or the accountability to tell the truth to the owners. I only put money, my money only. My money is invested in this particular company. So then I have a right to receive what? Dividend, but for me to receive dividend, company should run properly. So who is running this company? Board of directors. So I have entrusted my authority to board of directors to take decisions. So annually they should tell me what you all have done, what are the repercussions, what are the things happening, why don't you declare dividend, why the company is making losses. Accountability is there. So remember, owners and the board of directors different. Owner ඕන ඉන්න පුළුවන් board එකේ, but that's different. But owners and the board of directors are different. So that's why board of directors are convening the annual general meetings to tell the company affairs annually to the shareholders. Shareholders are කැමති නැත්නම් මේ board එකේ ඉන්න අය අයින් කරන්න පුළුවන්. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. මම පත් කරලා තමයි නමුත් මට ඕන විදිහට මිනිස්සු වැඩ කරන්නේ නැත්නම් I can remove it. That can be done, right? So basically, where do you do this? At the annual general meeting. At the annual general meeting. Right. Now see, now coming back to this. Those are additional things. Right? A acquires B. A is holding 51% of shareholding of B. So B becomes subsidiary. It's a pair. Now that's a separate one. Now B running on. A is holding 80% of C. Now my question is there any relationship between A and C? Do you see any relationship between A and C? A තමයි control කරන්නේ B එක. In other words. Huh? This one was a 90. B තමයි control කරන්නේ C එක. 80%. I. B තමයි මෙතන ඉන්නේ කවුද? සංගියා වගේ ඉන්නේ. right? A controls B. B controls C. හැබැයි B මෙතන සංගියා වගේ හිටියද B ව control කරන්න එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. Who? A. A B වැඩ කරන්නේ A කියන විදිහට. B වැඩ කරන්නේ A කියන විදිහට. So the ultimate power is with who? Ultimate power is with out of these three companies. A. A has the supreme power. Right? If you take isolate, B acquires C, B control B තමයි සංජය. B කියන එක තමයි C වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. නමුත් B වැඩ කරන්නේ කවුරුද කියන විදිහටද? A. So there is a then relationship between A and C. So the A and C. What's the relationship? What's the relationship? A and C. 51%. 51% of 80%. This is the relationship. .8 41 second. A ITC. Achha. 41%. What's the relationship between A and C then? Subsidiary? No. It's an associate. When you prepare group accounts, you can have group accounts B as a subsidiary. I'm talking about A's account, right? A. When A company, when company A prepares their group account, this company takes group account as subsidiary and B. B is a subsidiary of A, that's true. But C is not a subsidiary of A. C is a subsidiary of B. So when the B company B prepares their group account, they can take C as a subsidiary. That's the difference. We don't know. But here we are talking about A, company A, your bank. A, when it prepares group account, B is a subsidiary. You take all these asset liabilities into account when it prepares. So, but when you prepare, when A prepares account, group account, you can take some part of profit of C to your group account as well. Why? A is, or A and C, there is a relationship. C is an associate company of A. Now remember, when it becomes subsidiary parents, you take entire assets and liabilities when you prepare in group accounts or the consolidated account. But when it becomes associate company, now when it becomes associate company, in this case, we call A has significant influence on B. Now see the word significant influence. Now if you see this A and B, this is a parent subsidiary relationship. The controlling interest. A can control B, but here you can't control only 20%, less than 50%. So then how do you call it? For 2 mark question, examiner can test you. If you take A and B is an associate company, A acquires 25% of B, then what do you maintain? Remember the word significant influence. Controlling influence, controlling stake is maintained under the name of parent and subsidiary. But here we don't say parent even. We don't say parent even. We actually A and B. A maintains significant influence on B. Significant influence. If it is an associate, the one company maintains significant influence on other. So when you have associate company, then now in this particular A has significant influence on C. Why? C is an associate company of A. Then what do? C is profit. C के profit taking on C के profit taking 41% can be taken to A's account. C के profit taking 41% I see A. Why? He is maintaining significant influence, which is the associate, is an associate company. So remember, if it is parent subsidiary, you take entire assets and liabilities. You consolidate it. But if it is an associate, you take only what? Share of profit. Remember the word. Share of profit. You take only share of profit for the associates. Significant influence, that is associate. Share of profit, that is also associate. Understood? So the A becomes what? Here parent company for these two A and B, but C becomes an associate company. Now see this. You understood that? Now A has What is this? Now see this. Now how do you interpret this? A. Now understand this. Take your time and understand. This is important. The examiner frequently asks this question. Frequently asked question out of this syllabus topic. Right? Now A acquires 51% of B. We know A is a parent. B acquires 80% of C. So the B is holding 80% of C shares. හැබැයි ඒ කෙලින්ම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරලා තියෙනවා C ගේ. A කියන කම්පැනියේ C වල ෂෙයාර්ස් තරම් තියෙනවා. ගන්න කහනමක් තියනවද? Anybody can invest any company with leaving. A has directly holding 20% of shares of C. A has made an investment in C. What's the percentage? 20%. The percentage 20%. So then what's the relationship between A and B, A and C? Indirectly holds 41%, 41.40 plus is 41%, yeah, 41%. Indirectly, common. Indirectly means what? First scenario. So then what is the other one? A and C. How I can feel on directly. Told with how much? Now see. AC, A and C relationship. Indirectly hold 41%. What do you mean by indirectly means? Not direct. Through another company. Indirect means what? Through another company. Through B only 41% acquired by A. Through B only. B only B again tamai acquire karagatte B through tamai acquire karagatte 41% of C by A. Understood? A company A කියන එක 41% අයිති කරගත්තේ මොකක් කරනවද? B කියන company එක. හැබැයි I have a direct investment as well. I have invested in C as well directly. How much? 20%. Now earlier case without this direct investment, it was an associate company. Now when you add together direct and indirect, then the A and the C is the relationship. Parent and subsidiary. So the parent and subsidiary relationship, how do you build? One thing is direct, other one is direct plus indirect. Indirect only. Now there are three methods to become a subsidiary. Either direct, you directly go and acquire, and you indirectly, the maker. Now this particular guy holding 60%. Now say 60%. This guy holding 70%. Now see first one only A acquires 70. A is holding 70% of B share subsidiary. B is holding 80% of C. So what's the relationship A and C? At side. So the 56%. A holds 56% of C. In this case, no direct investment. A and C, the parent and subsidiary. So the parent and subsidiary to work, it can be direct investment. Directly kind of it can be through indirect investment like this one. Now take this particular one only. A is holding 70% of B, B is holding 80%. So what's the A and C? C is the subsidiary of B. Why? A and C, how much, what is the percentage? 70% into 80. 50, A holds 56% of C. A is holding 56% of shareholding of C. Indirectly. Not directly, indirectly. So it is a subsidiary of. Now A is subsidiary. So A has two subsidiaries then. Why? What? B and C. B is direct subsidiary. C is an indirect subsidiary. It doesn't matter for the group accounts, preparation of group accounts. So your group your group consists of two subsidiaries, B and C. You got it? Now here how much is the fund money? 51. Now see, now third method is indirect and direct both. Three methods. Now what? The earlier case it was only associate company. Now C becomes subsidiary through direct and through indirect both. You got? Now you prepare two subsidiaries as group accounts. Two subsidiaries taken into account for the preparation of group accounts of A. What are the two companies? B and C. You got it? That's how it happens. Right? Direct and indirect. So here the relationship is parent and subsidiary. But the associate companies, the relationship is what? There is no relationship, but we call it significant inflow. So acquisition, both the companies now A, B, C, three companies existing. But if it is merger, existing companies will vanish. No more existing companies hereafter. So the new company comes into the team. So if it is group account preparing under the acquisition only. Under the acquisition only. Now when you acquire one particular company, then you become group account. Then you should prepare group account. If it is a merger, a new company, there is no, at the merger only you get to then a new company. So there is no group code like that. But the acquisition only you have merger group account. You go and see your balance sheet of your bank's balance sheet or your company's balance sheet. There you can see under a note subsidiary associate companies for a note taken. And then you have a group account as well, some separate column, right? Your parent company, bank column and the group column. So the bank means virtually parent. Understood? So the indirectly and directly. Both are the methods can be held. shares of another company to become associate company, right? And if it is significant influence, we call it 20% or more associate company. There you have what? Share of profit only you take into account. Share of profit. But if it is a normal company, now say you make investment in for a company investment that. So the percentage wise ගත්තාම a company shares වලින් ඒ කියන්නේ අර invest කරපු company insignificant. Now if you want to buy shares, now you buy from the share market or shares 10,000 ගන්න. So you don't have any percentage holding. It's an investment. A investment එක කරාම what do you now as invest now see sorry. Now when you become a subsidiary then you take into group accounts. It becomes an associate company, you take the significant, you maintain a significant influence, and you take the share of profit. If it is normal investment, less than 20% now, it's a normal investment. You take what? Dividend into account. You don't consolidate. You don't take profit into your account. No, nothing. It's a normal investment you make. Right? Normal investment. So now see now for your investment, now A's investment in B, when the B declares dividend, A gets dividend. That's a different, That's a different issue. As an income, you get dividend. Now when C declares dividend, 80% of dividend should receive to B. That's a different issue. Dividend is anyway getting, but here as a accounting purpose, you consolidate it. As a accounting purpose, you consolidate. Counting purpose, you consolidate it. That's how it happens. You got it? Now we see this now this graph is important. This acquisition, this is actually this is merger. We will come later this vertical horizontal one. And also the reasons why do we need the benefits of merger. That is also important for you to understand. Examiner can test you. So why companies need to be merged? Why companies need to be merged? So when you become merged, or when you become one company in the same industry, now say now Joe the what do you call this Arpico and the Cargill becomes one. What happened? What happened? Now what happens? Now presently what happens? Cargill has separate set of customers. Arpico has separate set of customers. So when you become one, when you become merged, so the entire market share is with the one company. Now the same market share is dividing among these supermarkets. Additionally, in the same market share is dividing among supermarkets. So when you become get together, when you merge it, then this is beneficial for the existing company as well. So the reasons, understand the reasons why, the reasons for merger, and also understand this horizontal vertical. Now horizontal merger means what? Now horizontal merger means, as I told you, now Jones Hills and Fields and Artico, same line of business, they become merged. Same line of business. Now vertical means what? Different types of hotel hospitality. Different line. You can merge it. There is no harm, but very rare we can see that different lines merge. But you can do that. So definitely there is a method of do this. the company to company becomes merged. That's no issue. Now generally we do it rather than the vertical under vertical merger. Now forward integration and backward integration. Vertical merger, I think I have given note on this as well. Just see. The mandatory ඔක්කො කියන tute එකේ තියෙනවා vertical merger and vertical merger. There are two types. That is forward integration and backward integration. Now forward integration is what? Now when you take what do you call this? Food City fresh milk. So there are farmers who produce fresh milk. So the Cargills get together with the farmers. So the backward integration. Producers like equipment. That is backward integration. Cargills make a collector level, make a sub sell करने के रास्ते एक एकत्र करना. That is forward integration. You become a supplier. Then you have a relationship with the supplier. When you have a relationship with the supplier, that is forward integration. When you have a relationship with the merger with the producer, that is backward integration. So the integration is very much important. So these two integrations are being discussed under the vertical merger. So that is also. And examiner has tested these three ones. Horizontal merger, vertical merger, and conglomerate merger. Conglomerate merger means unrelated lines of business. Completely unrelated lines. Right? Now vertical merger is also unrelated but forward and backward integration. Like now if you take the Keels and Apico same line of business, but this is not if you take Cargill, producer and the supplier, not in the same line but kind of same line. Why? Fresh milk producer produce, then come to Cargill, then the final customer. So one product is going on in line business, but two different product codes, different product ideas, different product lines, right? Not in the same business. Now Cargill is not in the producer business. Cargill is not in. Cargill is actually doing the selling part only, but a different line, but same kind of line, thing. But if you take conglomerate, it's a completely different kind of business. So understand vertical integration has two things. Vertical merger has two things. Forward integration and backward integration. That is also important for you to understand, right? You can read these things, right? For your information, I have included for your knowledge purposes only. Now, hostile merger, I'll come back to later. And now, when a company is acquiring, you have to pay amount of money. You have to pay amount of money. Now, the amount of money we call it purchase consideration. The amount of money we call it purchase consideration. The amount of money we call it purchase consideration. This one. So methods of payment. If it is in cash, now the particular company, we take this particular one, A and B, A acquires B. How do you pay? By A? By cash. One method. A can pay whatever the price is to B for this 51% share stake. A is going to invest in B. So when you make investment, you have to make payments. So how do you make the payment? By cash. The other method is, remember, A can issue shares without paying cash, by A. A කියන්න පුළුවන්, okay, don't worry, I will issue my shares. Whose shares? A's shares to B. A should willing to accept. If the A is willing to accept, then no problem. Otherwise, he can reject it. Now, how do you decide this purchase consideration? There are methods of deciding the purchase consideration. The accounting method, net asset calculation, free cash flow calculation, and replacement cost. There are three methods for you to calculate. Now, say now B is a listed company in the share market. B's price is trading. Today's price is trading. So, as a screening method, කෙනෙක් හැවොත් එහෙම B කොච්චරක් වටිනවද කියලා අද තියෙන number of shares, අද තියෙන share price එක අරගෙන මේ number of shares වලින් වැඩි කරපුවාම this much worth, this is the value of this particular company. So meaning if this particular acquiree, which is B, listed company, so the price is readily available. I share market price again, demand and supply. So the screen price is readily available. By A price at the price. Why? So there are many things not included in the account. Goodwill. If you say John Keels, there is a huge goodwill. So the goodwill accounts for it's a tangible asset. So when you do valuation of this particular B company, if the A needs to acquire B has to be valued. Who has done this valuation? Independent auditors. When the auditors are valuing this particular B, they take everything into account. So basically, auditors of B is doing due diligence. Auditors of B is doing due diligence. So we will stop from that onwards. For the time being, just remember, keep in mind, understand the relationship, understand the percentage holding, understand the group account preparation. Group account preparation in the sense the parent and subsidiary only prepares group account. Understand the share of profit coming into the accounting, that is significant influence you maintain with on associates. And how do you make the payment? 2 shares, 2 cash. What do you call this? Purchase consideration. Understand the 3 methods of merger: horizontal, vertical, and conglomerate. Vertical, we have 2, forward and backward integration. And B to value, the acquiree to be valued. Acquiree so who does the valuation? Auditors, independent auditors only doing the valuation. For auditors to do valuation of B or the acquiree, auditors are doing due diligence process. The due diligence process we will be learning tomorrow or the next week, and we will be taking securitization part of course next week. Then we can finish your syllabus next week. Right, so the balance part will be taking from on this onwards. I will be completing this one and the capital restructuring part in the securitization part. So the next week we can finish it off your entire syllabus. So now it's up to you to prepare for the questions. So any question you need to ask?
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
That you, as you said, that the 51% share owner can appoint directors for a company, no?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
As you said that 51% of share owner can
Yeah,
appoint the directors, no?
yeah.
So who pays the salary for them? Is that company or the?
Now these directors are not paid salary. Now,
Okay.
generally, directors are not the executive people. Executive people means what? Now, if you take your company, if you're working in a company, directors are not directly involved in day-to-day operation. So basically, they take the decision and they take decision and they basically pass on to the downward people. So basically, top to bottom. That's what will happen. Now, the people who are executing these decisions are paid salary. Now, directors are paid director emoluments. So basically, when they sit on the board, so there is a board meeting, once a month board meeting. If the directors are coming to this board meeting, if they sit for the board meeting, then they are paid directors emoluments. So who pays the directors emoluments? By the company only. Company pays as an expense directors. Now, if you see administrative expenses, if it is a normal company, administrative expenses, then you have directors emoluments. So the company pays directors emoluments, but not as salary, but the emoluments. Why? Salary is basically paid for the people who are permanent employees. We pay salary for permanent employees or the temporary employees, whatever. Temporary employees also we pay lump. But if you pay salary, that person has to become a permanent employee. So the directors are not permanent employees. They are actually non-executive employees. Non-executive. So the executive people are the people who carry out the decision taken by the board of directors. So that they basically now board of directors generally we call it non-executive directors. Non-executive directors. Why? They are not involved in day-to-day company's affairs. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Any
Thank you.
question? Anybody has any other question? Right, then we will wind up. Only thing I have not taken today's, yesterday's 6-month roadmap. So I thought of giving some kind of summary in the sense that sometimes it may relevant to us as well when you're sitting for the exam next term. I'll give you the relevant parts. There are a few things to be learned now. ISB, wind back and everything. So exam can test you. Now you know ISBs are at a very high yield. High yield means low price. So the government is basically issuing 100 rupees or 1000 rupees. Now they are buying back at 90, 80, 60 rupees. So the 6 rupees so the 100 given or 6 rupees given at Vasi. So we have learned in your subject topic that part. And ISP, remember the dollar denominated instrument, offshore instrument, how the government takes dollar funds to the country. ISP is the only instrument, then the borrowing. Locally we learn SLDD and inflation also maintaining the same single digit. So there are few matters to be considered for our syllabus, our subject. I'll be taking up with you next week. I just wanted to have a kind of start for this mergers and acquisitions, so we can finish off everything next week. Then we can move into questions. Right? So thank you very much. So that we will meet up next Sunday as usual. Right? Thank you very much.